Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, just
Good.
having a great week. How's your week going?
So far, so good. We're okay. Wait a few minutes, right? Because I think
Yeah, absolutely.
today we've done 4 back-to-back sessions, so it's like you kind of started them all like at 11:05, 10:05. So
Got
if
it.
you're cool with that, Kevin, I'd be all right with waiting a few
Of
extra minutes.
course.
So.
Is everyone PD'd out today? Is everyone doing
I don't
okay?
know. I've been here I left to go pick up my car and I'm back again. So
Okay.
it's like, so I think I'm super happy that we're even doing this. To be honest, this is
Awesome.
legit awesome, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
That's great.
I feel, yeah, I'm just happy that we're able to offer some of these sessions. I know it's our teachers are still on summer break, but the reality is that I feel like once school comes back, we're running 100 miles an hour, and it's hard to add things that, like, how do you prioritize 10 different things that are all number one, right? So
Absolutely.
so that's a little bit hard to do. So.
Well, good. I'm gonna turn my video off for just a second.
Yeah.
I will be right back with you.
Hi, Chris.
Yo, how are you doing?
Just wanted to say hi and thanks for the class. And I'm going to mute myself and turn my face off.
No, absolutely. No, I'm so glad you're here. And I'm going to I'll put in the chat because we've been asking folks to fill in our survey. So I'll put in 2 things. I'll put in today's check-in link in just a second, and then I'll put in our survey link because we have some cool swag that we've gotten from our partner vendors, and we'll be using that to send that out over once we get back to school. So.
All right. Well, I love Newsela, so I can't wait to see what you got to share. Yay. Okay.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm just moved outside. Need to get a little bit of this heat before the heat gets too overwhelming. So I'm munching on a bag of Doritos, and I have a blackberry frozen treat that's making my mouth all purple. So hopefully looking at the back of my house and the plug-in is good enough for you guys.
That's what 101, that's what PD on the patio is about. Like, bring some food, bring your cool beverage of choice to hang out for sure.
Blackberry smoothie, Chris. Blackberry smoothie.
Yeah. I might have to go to Starbucks because I have enough points to buy coffees for the next 3 years. I don't have to pay for a single coffee at Starbucks for the next 3 years. So I might just do that later. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right, Kevin, I'm going to just throw in the chat our check-in link for teachers, and then I'm going to just throw in there our survey, if that's okay with you. And I'm just going to introduce myself real quickly so people know who we are, and then it's all you, my friend. So
That sounds great.
all right. Even though, okay, so this link, friends, will say teacher source check-in 101 for Newsela. Just use it for today. The links are not correct, and it's driving me. I don't have time to even deal with those links today. So I'm putting in our link today for today's check-in session. So this is the link for our, apologize, not that one. Hold on a second. Gosh, give me a second here. Yeah, here's a link for today's Newsela session. We did have a session last week for Newsela. That was more geared towards elementary, right, Kevin?
Correct. Yep. We did 3 through 5, and today is 6 through 12.
Yeah. So today is going to be our secondary. So if it says 101, it's again because it's kind of the same intro basics, but for our different audience for today. So, and then last thing but not least, friends, is the link for our survey. So after you've joined our sessions, I do ask that you just take a quick survey, fill it out, tell us where you are and your information. That way we can do our drawings. And I think I'm going to be doing drawings today for last week's winners and for this week's winners. So with that being said, welcome to today's session. We're doing Newsela for secondary. We have a beautiful Canvas integration with Newsela, which is one of the reasons why we do love that workflow. So the teachers can still use Canvas with Newsela. They can even have students submit work, but there's no secondary or third type of an account. Kids don't have to work with their passwords. We love those integrations as well. And so if you don't know who I am, I'm Chris Giles. I'm our Canvas admin for the district. I'm also a technology integration specialist at TOSA. Taught for a long, long time, over 17 years, including internationally in Brazil. So I'm here for your support for Canvas, for integrations, Newsela, all the integrations we have. And then with that being said, I want Kevin to, I'm going to put myself on mute, my friend, and Kevin was recording. So when he's done later today or sometime, he's going to send me the link. So we do have today's session. We'll make that available for friends as well. So Kevin, I'm going to put myself on mute, and I want to say thank you for being here so much, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Chris, it's always great partnering with you on all the things we do here at Newsela alongside Beaverton School District. So it's really a pleasure for me to be here. It's been a blast. We had a great time last week with the 3 through 5. And so I'm looking forward to this session. I'm going to share my screen and I'll introduce myself a little bit further here. Here is the little slide deck. Whoops. Here's the little slide deck. I'm just going to pull my chat over to the side so that if I get some questions, I can see that. So this is a workshop with Newsela for grades 6 through 12. Just real quick about me. My name is Kevin Weiss. I am a customer success manager at Newsela. Really just means I partner with Beaverton School District and many others across the country in ensuring that we're really meeting your goals with using Newsela, and that I'm able to help support you in different instructional practices to really make this a meaningful learning experience for your students and really be able to tie back to the standards and goals and topics and really outcomes you have. And so I'm excited to be here. I work alongside your district to help set some of those goals, and I'm always available if any of you need anything. Really quickly, agenda is just going to quickly talk about who we are at Newsela, why Newsela. And I'm going to take that out. I apologize. We're going to show you how to find and assign content. And then we're going to show you how to use your binder. And then a little bit about our educator center and some other support resources you can use as you move forward. And I'm actually going to leave behind a couple of resources for you as well to help you get going. And as Chris said, I'll be sending out this recording. So if you want to reference something that I said, you can come back and watch that as well. So again, thank you for having me, and let's dive in. So what is Newsela? We're an instructional content platform. We partner with the world's most trusted content providers. Some examples might be the History Channel, National Geographic, New York Times, The Economist, a lot of different content providers from all over the world. We take those and make those instructionally ready materials for the classroom. And so not just articles and the actual content, but we actually have activities and instructional resources for you as a teacher to actually take that piece of content or that article and make it really engaging for your student. We are always looking for relevant and engaging resources to really engage your students with. We know that many times textbooks can be outdated and become stale. And so really the goal of Newsela is to say, how can we continually have stuff that's been vetted by, with trusted content providers, been vetted by us, and that that anything you find in Newsela is going to be ready for your classroom. And so that's really what we do. We try to have stuff that's real world, that students are at home already talking about with their families and friends, and they're able to actually learn about it and have it be a meaningful experience in your classroom. And we are also active. So again, we're publishing up to 10 texts every single day. So you're going to constantly see new articles on the platform. We actually have over 15,000 pieces of content on our platform right now and growing. We have multimedia videos and also articles, which is great. And we want to make this accessible for your students, so for all learners. So we actually have every single article published at 5 different reading levels. And so whether you have students that are reading at level or above, or maybe below, and you're working with those students, we make that accessible for all those students. We also have stuff for English language learners. About 30% of our articles are in Spanish. We also have a read aloud features for non-readers or early readers, and many other things to really make this accessible for your students, for any student that you're working with. And then the icing on the cake is that it's aligned to your state standards. So you can actually search by standard and be able to see what content's aligned to standards. I'm going to show you all about that. So We love engaging with our teachers in this platform. This is who we are, and this is why we do what we do and why we were created as a company. So we say the best lessons begin with the best content. Let's go dig into the actual platform and I'll show you around. And that way you can get started and start playing around with it. So this is the Newsela platform. If you've never seen it before, this is what it looks like when you log in. And again, we do have you guys set up with your integration, so you'll be able to find and assign all that stuff out within Canvas, which is great. And I'm going to leave you with a little document that helps you get everything set up through Canvas, and it also helps make sure your students are set up correctly. And I know Chris is a pro on this as well, so he'll be able to support you guys in this as well. When you log in, this is the page you'll see. And just so you can see how we've designed this, we have all of our themes and categories over here on the left. And then on the right is where the actual content is. So you can scroll up and down through all of our content, but if you have a specific category that you want to go to, we have obviously a ton of nonfiction, but we also have fiction on here too. You can just click to that and it'll actually take you down to that section. Super easy to navigate and find the different categories that you want to go into. Another thing I always love telling teachers is that there's a lot on here, right? There's over 15,000 articles. You may be going through and doing some prep for your lessons and find an article or a piece of content that looks really interesting and you want to be able to come back to it later. There's this little bookmark that you can save. So you don't even have to click in to see what it is yet. You can just save it and come back to it later and read about it. And you'll be able to see on the article, the name of the article, when it was published, and you can even assign from here without even going in. So again, click that bookmark symbol if you find something that you're interested in and come back to that later. And I'll show you where to find that content that you're saving. Another thing I always love to point out is on the very bottom of the page, there's these little buttons on the bottom, and there's one that says partners on it. And if you ever have your students or a parent or anyone that says, who is Newsela partnering with? Where are they getting all their content from? We actually have our full partner list on here, so you can see where all of our content comes from. We don't have any originally written content in the platform. We're just transposing it and making it ready for the classroom and putting it in those 5 reading levels. We're actually getting content from vetted sources so that you know that anything you have in here is from trusted providers. Going back to our main page here, I'm not going to spend too much time on this page because I'm going to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of probably where you're going to spend most of the time. But again, you can scroll up and down to find what you like, and then you can see your categories over here. One thing I do want to point out is our video section. We have now, I think, over 400 videos on the platform. This was something that we started implementing last year. And so you're going to see a ton of videos that you can actually assign out to your students, which is really fantastic. If you're scrolling up and down, we don't just have 4 pieces of content per category. All you have to do is click the see more, and you'll be into where there's a ton more things in here for you. But where you're probably going to spend the majority of your time is under these different options up here. So there's a search option that I'll show you in a little bit. Your content, I talked about bookmarking some of these articles. You're going to be able to find that under your content. You can see stuff saved by you, and you can even curate content as well. So if you find a grouping of articles that you like and you want to put them all together, you can do that as a teacher. It's really simple to do. And then you have assignments. This is any assignments that you've pushed out to your students. And then your binder, which is where you'll actually see insights about how your students are performing on their reading skills. You'll be able to see what activity they're spending time on and a lot of other great insights. I'll come back to that later. For now, I want to show you how to browse around and find stuff that's aligned to your content areas. So first, I'm going to come down and we're going to check out what's in English language arts. So once we click into English language arts, you're going to notice that the design of this area is very similar to the home page. You're going to have your categories on the left and your content on the right. There's just a lot more categories now that this is being curated specifically for ELA. So you'll see now, instead of it just saying videos, it says ELA videos. So I'm going to point out, these are called, we call these, collections in here. It's just collections of content. So if you see some of these collections, which I was calling categories here, you'll see featured stuff. So many times this is aligned to things that are going on in the world at that time. Down here, you'll see latest news, which is stuff that's just been published. So you'll notice the publishing date on these says 8/10. So these were published very recently, just yesterday. And they'll, by the time you sign on tomorrow, you'll see stuff that's on here from 8/11. So we've got new stuff coming on here. If you just want to find a new engaging article, jump on there and find something that you think will be great for your students. I love this one, flexible resources for ongoing learning. Many of our districts, if not all, are thinking about how do I accelerate my students' learning right now, especially given coming back out of the pandemic. We've got specifically ELA acceleration units designed for all grade levels in here. If you click in here, see more, there's also some other really great content in here like reading clubs. This is something that you can push out to your students and they can do in their own time. It's just another flexible resource. So there's a lot of great stuff in here that you can check out. If you ever click in and you get lost, remember, you can always go back to browse and you'll come back to that subject area. So you never have to worry about going too far down the rabbit hole. It's fun to explore and kind of see what's in there. Celebrating Black voices. Something we talked a lot about with your district is having content that is written from the voice of the person that, or is in the voice of the person that wrote it and coming from that voice. And so we've got celebrating Black voices in poetry, and we've got books by Black authors. So this is a really great newer collection that we have. And we know that a lot of our districts love this. We encourage you to check this out as well. We also have curriculum complements in here. This is really great. I'm going to dig in here for just a second. We have some of the most popular curriculums in here. So if you click and see more, one of the things that I was showing the 3 through 5 group last week was this Lucy Calkins unit of study. We actually have stuff that's completely aligned to the scope and sequence of Lucy Calkins. And so we have from 2nd to 8th grade, you'd be able to find stuff for both reading and writing. This isn't the actual curriculum, so I want to make that clear. This is additional readings and engaging resources and activities that go along with that scope and sequence. So you can click around in there and check out some really cool stuff. I'm going to click in just so I can show you what some of these different articles look like. So I'm going to come in here to our 8th grade reading section, and then you're going to see these categories over here, these units aligned to that curriculum. And so you can again click in here, you can scroll down. We'll click into this one that says why your mindset matters. And once you click in here, you'll get to see this great article. I'm going to show you around and show you how these articles work and how they make them really engaging for your students beyond just reading text. So you're going to be able to see what type of article this is about. So this is a science and math kind of related article, still integrating with your English language arts. You'll see the name of the article appear. So why your mindset matters. You can see who wrote it, when it was published, and what grade level this is recommended for. So this is lower elementary through high school in that range, pretty big range, but it can be used in a lot of different ways. And then you have this text level. So this is currently written at a 5th grade level. And then you'll see all the content below there. What I want to point out is some of the teacher tools for kind of that formative assessment and differentiation. You may be planning and reading through this, and you may want your students to respond to some specific parts of the text. Well, guess what? You can annotate any part of the text. All you do is highlight it. You can pick out a color. So I'm going to choose green, and then you can have them respond. You can write whatever you want to this text, and you just click out share. Now, any students that come through this article that are reading at that 5th grade level will be able to see you highlight this, whatever you wrote, and now they can have a conversation with you. You can go back and forth, which is just fantastic. Another thing that I want to point out, as I talked about how this is at a 5th grade reading level, well, you have choice as a teacher to move around to those 5 different reading levels that I talked about earlier. So if I want to do this at this reading level, you'll see that that was that one, 86, 860. We call these Lexile levels. That's what the L stands for. Let's say I go up to this one. Now this is at a 6th grade reading level, and you'll notice the text changes every time I click on changing that reading level. Let's try again. If I go to max, that's the original level that the article is written at. If I click on that, now you're going to see this is at a 12th grade reading level. So you're able to move around and be able to see this at all different reading levels. And the annotations that you put in will only be for that reading level. So that way you can differentiate it for different readers that are coming on here. So you can mark those up as you want and really differentiate for your students. As I said, about 30% of our articles are also in Spanish. So you can click that in Spanish and look, now all the text is in Spanish, and you still have those at those 5 different reading levels. I always like to point out that we do all of our translations with native Spanish speakers, not like Google Translate or something. And so we really take our time with these translations. We're not to 100% obviously yet, but everything we do in Spanish, we always do it right with that native Spanish speaker. We always do it at the 5 different reading levels, and we have all the same instructional resources you would have in English and Spanish. So we go all the way with that to really make sure that you have everything you need as a teacher. A few other things I like to point out are these teacher tools that are right below the name of the article at the top. Maybe you're in present mode in the classroom and you want to make that a little bit bigger. You can do that. Again, you can save it. Read aloud. This is great.
Why Your Mindset Matters by Cricket Media, adapted by Newsela.
So if you have any students that need extra support, you can use that read aloud feature for them as well. We love that too, Teresa. Thanks for that comment. Yeah, that's really important to us. If you share this out, you can do all these different things and share Google Classroom, obviously, but if you're not using that, it's totally fine. You can just copy the link. We always encourage copying the link. You can pull that into Canvas or whatever you're using. If you're shooting out an email, you can do that as well. You can always print anything we have on here. So maybe you want your students to actually mark up the reading. You can absolutely print that out. Earlier, I was telling you that you can save content, but you also can create content. So you can actually add this article to a text set that you create, like a grouping of articles. So you can always do that here. If you click add this, you can create a new text set, or if you have any that you've already started, you can just add it directly into that. So that's a fun little thing that you can do to really personalize it. You do not need to activate the read aloud. Students can do that on their own. So I talked a bit about the 5 different reading levels. The amazing part of the Newsela platform is that you can choose which reading level you want your students to all read at, but also Newsela will automatically differentiate this for you. And so we'll actually learn by your students going through and reading and responding to our formative assessments. We'll learn what reading level they're at. And then anytime you push out an assignment, it'll send the assignment to every student in your class at the reading level that they're at, which is just amazing. So you don't have to go through and select student by student. We'll actually do that work for you because we have machine learning built into our platform that will learn how your students are doing and where they're at. Let me show you how we do that. So we also have these activities built in here. Every single article has an ELA write prompt and quiz built in. This quiz is aligned to these different reading skills. And so as your students and these standards, reading standards, excuse me. And so as your students complete these quizzes based on their performance aligned to those reading skills, we'll actually assign a just right reading level, we call it JRRL. And like I said, anytime you push out an assignment, it'll automatically send it to where they're at. So these are a fantastic formative assessments aligned to the article. And that is also differentiated by reading level. So you'll see the quiz changes as we're at different reading levels to make sure that it's aligned to that grade level. So we have those quizzes, which are great. We also have open response write prompts. And we always put a write prompt in here that you can always use, but you can also edit this as a teacher. Maybe you don't like the write prompt, or you have another quiz that you want to put in here. You can put whatever you want in here, and your students will see that when they come in here, which is great. Yeah, I love our write prompts. It's open response. And just like the annotation where you can have a conversation back and forth with your students, you can do that in the write prompts. When you go back in, you can grade their write prompt. You can tell them what you thought about their write prompt, and you can ask them to submit again if you want to. So these are the different activities. And then many of our articles will also have either a social studies or a science write prompt or quiz built in. So it's not every single one, but a lot of them. So this actually has a social studies specific right prompt built in as well. And you can choose as the teacher what you want to push out. Once you've decided what activities you want to do and you've marked up annotations, or you just saw the reading that you want to do, you can then go into assign. And this is where you will choose how you want to push this out. So you'll put your assignment title in here. You will have all your classes that's part of the integration we have with your district. You can easily pull and sync those in. You can choose which class you're pushing this out to. And then you'll put your instructions. So you may say, please complete the ELA quiz and write prompt, and mark any interesting facts you find in yellow. So your students can annotate just like you can. So you could just ask your students like, hey, I want you to interact with the text and I want you to mark everything that you find interesting in yellow. Maybe you'll tell them you want them to mark 3 parts in yellow, or whatever you want to do as a teacher. And then this is where you decide how you want to do the reading level. Maybe you are a 6th grade teacher and you want all your students to be reading this at the 6th grade level. You can lock that. So your students are all doing the same. If you do no level locking, then it'll automatically push it out at the reading level that the students are at, just right reading level for them. And then they should be all set to go. And then you just click sign. So that's how these articles work. I know we only have a few minutes left. We've only really scratched the surface by showing you English language arts, and you guys can explore all this as much as you want. But I just want to quickly pop into social studies and show you some of the great stuff we have there. Once this loads up for me. And thank you for the questions. I was wondering about that because it did that when I last used it and everybody had a different level. So yeah, you probably didn't lock it, and so it probably sent it out and differentiated that for you. So categories over here on the left, we've got courses. So we've got complete social studies courses in here. This updated rediscovering US history is one that I always point out. There's great stuff in there that you can find, but really when you're clicking into this, you'll find a lot of different a lot of different history courses. Just click see more and you'll have full units in there with teacher-facing lesson sparks. So I'm going to click back in here. You'll notice when I come in here, if I want to do development of U.S. constitutional democracy, you're actually going to have what we call lesson sparks in here. So there's a unit guide in here that gives you a estimated duration, a table of contents where you can see these different topics. So you're oftentimes going to find complete lesson sparks built into all these different units that you're going to be going through as a teacher. A few other things I want to point out. I feel like our time just went by so quick, Chris, so I apologize, but I'll leave you guys with stuff that you can check out after. You've got C3 inquiries. So once you click in here, you can find inquiries for high school, middle school, and you'll be able to see about 15 inquiries that you can build lessons and units around. We've still got the curriculum complements. Project-based learning is great. We've got cornerstone activities in here. So if you want to do something connected back to the real world, maybe you want to talk to your students about public policy issues. You've got this instructional guide, time, intended grades, content summary. You've got stuff about integration, gun violence, climate change, all this stuff that your students are hearing about the world. We've curated these text sets and collections, and you've got this implementation guide over here that will help you as a teacher. And we've also got additional links in here for activities like graphic organizers that you can pull up as well. So there's a ton of stuff. With our last minute or so, I would be remiss if I didn't show you guys really quickly how to see your students' insights. I'm just pulling up a different account. Using this binder, you can go in and see this reading summary in here. And you can actually see your students' names. You can see what reading level they're at, articles viewed, average quiz score, annotations per article. So you have this data and you can actually filter it by content area. And you can also target specific reading skills. So you've got these 8 main reading skills. If you want to see how each of your students performing on text structure or arguments and claim, you can really see how they're doing in those areas. But also built into there, you also see an activity feed. So you can actually see what articles your students are looking at. So maybe you see that there's a few articles that a lot of your students are really interested in. Well, now you can build a lesson around that because you know your students are already engaged with that article. So it really gives you those insights. And then yes, the answer is yes with Canvas. As long as you've gone through into Newsela through Canvas, and there's a way, and Chris can show you guys, there's a way to connect Newsela. Like if you go through Canvas and go into Newsela from there, it'll actually, Canvas will be in the background of Newsela while you're in there, and you'll be able to connect those assignments to Canvas. So yes.
And the beauty to that too, also like Kevin had showed earlier, like you could copy and paste the link if you wanted to an article, or you could just say, this is the article I want to assign to my students. The beauty of that is it shows up for the student on the calendar. If you give them a due date, whether it's a quiz or not, that shows up on the calendar, and then they just need to click on the assignment and it takes them right to that article. So, and yes,
Yep.
if a student took something and you wanted them to have submission type, then you could see that in SpeakGrader too.
Absolutely. Last thing is you have visibility into those assignments here in Newsela. So you can see all your students' name, what grade level they read it at, their last activity, time spent, quiz score, and this is where you can click into their right responses, and you can grade those and have that conversation, and same thing with annotations. And then you can see how your class did as a whole. So average article level, how many student views were in there, so you can kind of keep track of what's happening as a classroom as well. If you need any other additional support, there's also a couple other things here that you can dig into later, but if you need additional support, we have this educator center. You can access our community of teachers across the country and ask questions and engage there. There's some additional professional learning. We also have a support page where you can literally go in and find a lot of great resources. And there's also a live chat where you can talk to someone from Newsela. So I'm going to exit out of here, come back here because I want to leave you guys with some really cool resources I've put together for you. This is a getting started resource. There's a ton of stuff in here that's really great, and it shows you how to use these different things. You probably saw power words in there. This is tier 2 vocabulary that you can dig into with your students. So I want to give you this so you can have this. This is click around. There's videos built in here. There's also caregiver levers for parents in English and Spanish that you can send out. And then Chris, I don't think I did this last week, but this is a teacher rollout kit. And this is really great because this will help you get started with Canvas as well. So there's actually, Chris, an admin letter that you can give out to all your teachers in here of how to get started in Canvas. And then there's also stuff to get your students going. So if you need additional support to make sure your students are connected, we have this stuff in here as well. So I wanted to leave you with both of that. And on that note, I think we're out of time, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to ask you one more question. Do you is there still a Newsela certification program?
Yes.
I was just going to say, if you could just like show what where that is, where that can be found, that would be awesome. I have to be certified. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our Newsela Certified Educator course. It's the self-paced course. And upon completion, you'll get badged and certified by Newsela. You'll get a certificate for 5 hours of professional development. You'll get connected to our community of Newsela Certified Educators. So these are a lot of our leaders that are using Newsela. And you'll also get additional opportunities to even become a Newsela teacher trainer and a fellow. A fellow, if you get to that level, you actually are a part of a group of about 10 teachers across the whole US that gets to actually work with our content team and give input on how we're developing it. So I will also put this link in here, and this is again self-paced and should be another fun opportunity for you. Thank you all so much for having me, and I'm going to leave my email in here, and we have a support team, but I always like to leave my email. If you want to come to me directly for questions, I'm always happy to help. And Chris and I are in touch. I'm in touch with Lauren and Bradley at the district. I'm always happy to help you guys. I know there's a lot there. Have fun with it. Just know that if you ever get lost, click the Newsela blue button. You'll be back at the homepage. It's okay to go down the rabbit hole, have fun with the content, and have fun with your students.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Linda,
Yep,
Really
that was
enjoyed
awesome. Totally appreciate it.
for sure.
Um,
And Chris, I
yep.
did check. I don't have an answer yet, but I'm still working on seeing if we can get you guys some swag as well. So I'll be in
Oh,
touch.
that'd be awesome. Because I'm like drawing names right now. I'm doing my name drawing
Okay.
right now for last week's
Okay,
winners. And so I have a
okay,
list
yeah.
I'm putting on there. I'm like,
I'll
oh,
try to
okay.
hurry that up then.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then
Awesome.
Kevin's gonna go ahead and give us he'll send me the recording link, so we'll make that available. Right for now, we're just putting things on the Google slide deck that has all of our PD until we have a better space. But right now, that's where our stuff is going. So
Great. Thank you all. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your training and have a great start to the school year and reach out if you need anything.
yeah, thanks, Ken. I truly appreciate it.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.